Okay, so now let's take a look at the amenities for the Western Universal Inn. So we can say they have a breakfast buffet, an outdoor pool, self-parking, or we can also say free self-parking, an in-room safe, an iron, a hair dryer, and internet access. Okay, I know that's a lot, so let me just go over that one more time. They have a breakfast buffet, an outdoor pool, because outdoor starts with O, so we have to use an outdoor pool, free self-parking, an in-room safe, an iron. So same thing, these start with vowels, so we have to use an, and then a hair dryer and internet access. So you don't need to use an article for access, internet access, because this is a non-countable noun. Okay? It's not always necessary to use an article in front of each one if you use an article at the beginning. So you could also say, they have a breakfast buffet, outdoor pool, free self-parking, in-room safe, iron, hair dryer, and internet access. Okay, let's look at the distance from destinations. So, how far is Western Universal Inn from Daytona Beach? So I already did this one with you earlier, but you can say, Western Universal Inn is 47 miles away from Daytona Beach. Okay, and then you can also say, let's also make one long sentence for each one of these. So we could say, Western Universal Inn is 47 miles away from Daytona Beach, 1 mile away from International Drive, 8 miles away from Winter Park, and 12 miles away from theme parks. Okay, and then the room rates, the same thing as we did here. The room rate for a budget room, or I'm sorry, the rate, you can say room rate or just rate. The rate for a budget room at Western Universal Inn is $130 to $165. And then the same thing with standard. The rate for a standard room at the Western Universal Inn is $160 to $175. And finally, the rate for a deluxe room at the Western Universal Inn is $250 to $300. Okay, so finally, how much or what is the room tax? What is the room tax for the Western Universal Inn? So you can say the room tax is 6%. Okay, room tax is 6% for the Western Universal Inn. All right. So now we are going to look at this worksheet. It says, read the clues, guess the words, then number the clues and complete the crossword puzzle. Okay, so the first one is already done for us, and we can read, you should do this before you go to a campsite or hotel. And the answer is reserve. Okay, and you have to put number 1 because you can see it goes here. All right, and then let's look at number 2. The cost of entry to a museum. Okay, and if you remember, what is that? What is that word? Okay, yeah, so admission. So what I want you to do is also practice making sentences. So you can say, the cost of entry to a museum is admission. This one's pretty simple. The cost of entry to a museum is admission. Okay. And also, by the way, for number 1, if you want to make a sentence, you can use the word reserve instead of do this. So you should reserve or make a reservation before you go to a campsite or hotel. Or you can say you should reserve a campsite or hotel before you go there. Okay, you should reserve a campsite or hotel before you go there. All right. Let's look at the remaining sentences. So I'll give you some time to complete them and then also number them to fit the crossword puzzle. Okay, so you can pause the video and continue when you're finished. Okay, so let's look at the next sentence. Everyone needs this to have time to relax. So you might have guessed that the answer is vacation. Vacation. So if you make a sentence, you can say, everyone needs a vacation to have time to relax. Everyone needs a vacation to have time to relax. Okay, and you can already see a V here, so it's very likely that the answer here is vacation. But let's keep going first, just in case. A place that tourists like to visit. Okay, so we can say destination. So you can make a sentence and say, a place that tourists like to visit is a destination. Okay, a place that tourists like to visit is a destination. Okay, and the next sentence, a person who likes to travel and go sightseeing is a tourist. Okay, a person who likes to travel and go sightseeing is a tourist. And finally, you can stay here when you go on vacation. Okay, we just talked about this, so the answer is hotel. You can stay here, or you can say, you can stay at a hotel when you go on vacation. You can stay at a hotel when you go on vacation. So now let's fit these words into the crossword puzzle. Hotel only has 5 letters, so it's obvious that hotel goes here. Here, let me just do it like this. Okay, and then let's take a look at T. Oh, see, this one is given to us, so now we know that the answer for number 4, oops, let me put number 3 here, okay, and then number 4 is tourist. So let's finish that. T-O, ooh, okay, sorry about that. R-I-S-T, okay, tourist. And then now we know S and R for this one, so we could say number 6 is admission. The cost of entry, number 6. A, D, M, I, S, S, I, O, N. Okay. And then let's look at number 2, because we can see that vacation fits right here, so we can put 2. Okay, vacation. Okay, it's pretty tricky. Okay, vacation. So now it looks like I actually made a mistake with number 5. Okay, so the answer is not destination, but attraction. Sorry about that. So this would be number 5. We can fit A-T-T, oops, K-R-A-C-T-I-O-N. Okay, attraction. So crossword puzzles are very helpful for practicing spelling. Okay, now let's take a look at letter B. Imagine you are going to do the activities below. Write 4 sentences for each picture. Use before and after. Okay, so let's look at the first activity. Go camping. Okay, so you can see here, before I go camping, I'll reserve a campsite. Okay, how about after? Okay, so you can make a sentence with after as well. After I go camping, I'll post pictures to my social media account. Okay, so after I go camping, I'll post pictures to my social media account. Okay, so as you know, lots of camping sites might not have internet, so it's a good place to free your mind and escape from the busyness of communication and the internet. So you can say, after I go camping, I'll post pictures. Okay, or keep in mind, you can also put the before and after clauses at the end. So I'll reserve a campsite before I go camping. I'll post pictures after I go camping. Okay, so make before and after sentences with each of these activities. Go shopping, go skiing, and go running. So you can pause the video and continue when you're finished. Okay, so for the second activity, go shopping, you might say, before I go shopping, I'll make a list. Okay, or I'll make a list before I go shopping. And then you might say, after I go shopping, I'll try on the clothes. Or actually, that's probably something you would do while you are shopping, not before or after, but during. So you might say, after I go shopping, I'll organize my purchases. I'll organize my purchases. Or you could say, if they're gifts, then you could say, after I go shopping, I'll wrap the gifts. I'll wrap the gifts. Okay? And then let's look at go skiing. Before I go skiing, I'll check the weather. Before I go skiing, I'll check the weather. And after I go skiing, I'll clean my ski boots. Or maybe if you like to go skiing every year, you might say, after I go skiing, I'll plan for next year. Okay, and then go running. Before I go running, I'll get my gear ready. Gear is, basically items that you need for an activity. Okay, so before I go running, I'll get my gear ready, like shoes, running clothing, water, maybe a fitness watch. Okay, and maybe music to listen to. Okay, and then after I go running, I'll take a shower. Okay? I'll take a shower after I go running. So, I'm sure you have many different kinds of sentences, but those are just examples. Now also, I want you to practice making questions for each one of these. How can you make a question for before and after using this activity, go camping? So you could say, what will you do before you go camping? What will you do before you go camping? Okay, so use that example and make questions for each of these activities. And the question that you can use either before or after. Either one is fine, but the sentence format is the same. Okay, so what will you do after you go camping? Okay, same thing. What will you do before you go camping? And what will you do after you go camping? So same thing with these three. So you don't have to pause the video, but just go ahead and take some time to quickly practice these three. Okay, so you can ask, what will you do before you go shopping? And what will you do after you go shopping? Same thing here. What will you do before you go skiing? What will you do after you go skiing? And finally, what will you do before you go running? Okay, so now we are going to look at some sentences, and they are scrambled. They are not in the correct order, except for the first one. The first one is correct. It says the Columbia County Fair offers something for everyone. Okay, and then the rest of these sentences are not in the correct order, so I want you to put them in the correct order. Actually, you know what? It's not. You can't see all of the sentences. There we go. Okay, so pause the video and continue when you're finished. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the answers. So again, this is the first sentence, and then, okay, here we go. So here's the correct order. Let's read it. The Columbia County Fair offers something for everyone. First of all, the fair has many rides. There are fast rides for teenagers and adults, and there are slow rides for children. After you go on the rides, you will want to see the interesting exhibits. For example, you can look at vegetable exhibits, such as the largest potato and the largest pumpkin. If you like animals, you will also want to see the exhibits with chickens and rabbits. There are exciting contests after you see the exhibits. You can enter a pie-eating contest or a hat-making contest. In the pie-eating contest, people eat blueberry pie without using their hands. You will see a lot of the blueberry pie on their faces. In the evening, you can listen to a live music concert after they clean up. If the weather is nice, you'll see the amazing last event, fireworks at 11 p.m. Okay, so now we are going to look at our grammar lesson. So look at your student's book on page 133. Page 133. Okay, so in this lesson we are going to learn 3 uses of the present perfect tense. So you should already be familiar with the present perfect tense, and just to review quickly, to make present perfect tense, we have to use have or has plus past participle, so PP. Okay, so if you look at this example, it says Keiko has taken English classes for 6 years. So Keiko is third person singular, so we have to use has, and then taken is the past participle of take. Okay, so it's pretty simple, but let's look at the 3 uses, the 3 situations that we can use the present perfect tense. Okay, so I'm going to play the grammar lesson so you can watch, and when you're finished, you can go to part 3.
Unit 10, Lesson F. Grammar Connections. 3 uses of the present perfect. Watch and listen. The present perfect. There are 3 uses of the present perfect. 1. For events that began in the past and continue to now.
We have lived here for 10 years.
2. For events that have happened before now. Time unclear.
He has been to Africa.
3. For events that were repeated before now.
She has borrowed my car several times.
1. Present perfect. Events that began in the past and continue to now. Use the present perfect for events that began in the past and continue to now. Use time phrases like for a year, since 2015, or all my life.
I have worked here since 2015.
They have lived in that apartment for 5 years.
He has owned a boat for 2 years.
I have lived in this house all my life.
They have been married since 2016.
2. Present perfect. Events that have happened before now. Time unclear. Use the present perfect for events that have happened before now, but when is unclear. Often there is no time phrase, but unclear time phrases like before or in the past are possible.
I have been to Australia.
They have met before.
She has been on TV before.
I have spoken to a large group of people.
They have ridden motorcycles in the past.
3. Present perfect. Events that were repeated before now. Use the present perfect for events that were repeated before now. Use time phrases like twice, 3 times, several times, or many times.
She has driven a truck several times.
They have eaten sushi many times.
She has been to the Grand Canyon twice.
They have flown many times.
He has found money on the street several times.
Check your understanding. Look at the picture. Read and listen to the sentence. Does the sentence use the present perfect for 1. An event that began in the past and continues to now? 2. An event that happened before now, but at an unclear time? Or 3. An event that was repeated before now? Choose the correct answer.
He has owned a boat for 2 years.
1. An event that began in the past and continues to now.
She has been to the Grand Canyon twice.
3. An event that was repeated before now.
She has been on TV before.
2. An event that happened before now, but at an unclear time.
He has found money on the street several times.
3. An event that was repeated before now.
They have ridden motorcycles in the past.
2. An event that happened before now, but at an unclear time.
They have been married since 2016.
1. An event that began in the past and continues to now.
I have spoken to a large group of people.
2. An event that happened before now, at an unclear time.
They have flown many times.
3. An event that was repeated before now.
I have lived in this house all my life.
1. An event that began in the past and continues to now. Let's review. There are 3 uses of the present perfect. Events that began in the past and continue to now.
Keiko has taken English classes for 6 years.
Events that have happened before now, time unclear.
Jason has been to Canada.
Events that were repeated before now.
I have flown on a plane 6 times.